Welcome, superstars, to another episode of The Odd Couple of Real Estate. It's yours truly, Mr. Tycoon, the undisputed king of wholesaling, and my partner in crime, Mr. Don Doing Deals DeRosa.
Good morning.
Hey, superstars, I need y'all to be a little patient with us today. Don had a rough day today, And again, in celebration for those who are watching this live on YouTube or one of the other social media, Don has on the red because it's Valentine's Day. But people have been shooting at Don, so Don is bloody over there.
Yeah, I woke up today. I was just you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You just want to go back to bed.
Right.
So,
right.
But
we're gonna get through
How do
this.
you deal with that though? I mean, that's a real thing for people. I mean, people wake up on the wrong side of the bed every morning. I woke up and it's just like been nonstop.
Right. It's called life, and just as we have different seasons and good games, bad games. I like to use a lot of metaphors, but you're having the St. John on. St. John was some bad boys in basketball. About a decade ago. I don't know what they're doing right now.
Well, actually, this right here is my son. This is
I know.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah, I know. But when I see St. John, I think about
Yeah, you think of the
Yeah.
basketball team, New York.
Right.
That's what everybody says. I'm like, yeah, my son goes here, and they automatically assume he's in New York.
Yeah, right. But to answer that question, it's like rain and sunshine. They're just part of the seasons of life. We had those amazing days, and what we want to do is try to, even when it's raining, what do we get? We get an umbrella. We try to plan for it. We put our rain boots on. We can't make it stop raining because some things are out of our control, and it's easier said than done all the time. That is not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. And somebody flick you off in traffic and you going somewhere, you have a right to get upset about it, but we don't know what's going on with that person. Are they late for court?
Yeah, exactly.
But nevertheless, how do we interpret that? And I know some of the stuff that's going on with you as far as from a business standpoint. And then certain individuals, you just got to deal with them because that's who you're dealing with, and not allow it to affect you. And that, as I say, that's easier said than done, and that's just like muscles. That's something that we have to build up if we want to talk about mental fortitude or mind power, mind control, emotional strength, because that's what it really is. It's all in your head.
I do have some good news.
Okay.
My partner and I, Chrissy Griffin, we got approved for our franchise.
Congratulations! Where's our hand clap? Where's our hand clap? Okay, we're gonna give a physical one.
But
congratulations!
We've been trying to get this franchise for a few weeks now, and we finally got it put together. So I'm excited.
Congratulations! And I remember because you had to go drop the check, and that check was like in your hand, like do I want to do it?
I had a hard time releasing that one,
right,
but it was all right. It was
right,
good.
Right.
It was good. So that's a great positive direction. So
right. And really, you were saying what we have to do is let's look at all the things, the gratitude things that we have in life. That's one of my things that I attempt to do every day. So I'm not going to say I do it every day, but I have a journal and I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for every day.
I do mine in the evening.
Right. I like to do mine in the morning because it helps set up the day.
You seem like a morning person. I'm not. I get up. What time do you get up in the morning?
5:30, 5, 6.
Yeah. See, I roll over at 5:30, 6, but I probably don't get out of bed until 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Unless I go to the gym, then I get up early and go. But I haven't been going to the gym in a while, as you can tell.
Right.
As you can tell.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But again, that even comes back to us individually, setting our days up. I go to bed early. Like yesterday, shout out to LA Rams winning the championship. I went to bed at halftime. Yeah. Not just only because I don't have, as they say, a dog in the race or
dog in the fight.
Yeah, dog in the fight. Thank you. Mr. Tycoon missed him sometime. I'm just on this focus right now of learning this Facebook stuff, working on my Spanish, working on me mentally, as you're talking about, putting stuff in this right perspective. Yep. And we gonna get to this show, but as you're saying, this is really the real part of life. How do I deal with this thing called life?
Well, I think it's important, and one of the reasons why I think we're going to touch on this today is you're going to come across adversity in this business very quickly.
Right.
very quickly. And we're going to talk about the mistakes that people make
Yeah.
in real estate. And that's one of them is how do you deal with a no or adversity of any kind? I mean, most people, they quit.
Right. And statistically, and I like to look at the data when we really look at this life, Don, that we are part of, and this statistic right here, that 10% of our society, 10%, 10% of our society control 90% of the wealth of the world.
Yeah.
The 10% is doing something a little different than the 90%. And that has to do with their mental fortitude, their ability to have some of these things in their correct format that we're going to be discussing today when we talk about the 4 biggest mistakes investors make, new and old. This is just not a rookie thing. Some of these mistakes are made by veterans in the business, and they wonder why their business doesn't go to the next level. And most people don't want to talk about this. Everybody want to talk about making money. Then they want to talk about relationship. Then they want to talk about love. Then they want to talk about fitness. But people really don't like to talk about personal development and taking responsibility because
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, and you say how people think differently. When my kids were young, now they still they don't let me forget this today, but I think it has made them who they are. I consider my children very successful, and because when they got in trouble, like most parents will ground you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that.
Okay, what was your teaching
methodology? My grounding, like they give me a bunch of grief to this day, but like if they did something super frustrating where I had to ground them, I gave them 30 days of. They had to listen to Tony Robbins for 30 days.
Wow.
And I said, the faster you get done with that, the faster your grounding is done. So they hated it, but they were reinforced with more positive. It was a punishment, but they look at that now and go, wow, I can't believe you made us do that. But I think that lends itself to how do you treat, I mean, do you put a carrot or a stick out there?
Right. I mean, that's good. It's almost like, making your kids read a book when they, they've done something. And then they say, well, that make the kids not want to read. They don't hate reading.
You would think that would be the case, but that wasn't the case.
And again, because I'm dealing with it now, and not so much, maybe the same as some of the same challenges of just having kids. We know they're foolish. They're naive. They think they know things, and especially this generation with Google and IG and TikTok, they think they know everything at 12. I got a 12-year-old that thinks he is smarter than me. But nevertheless, and that was one of my things. I want him to enjoy reading. I didn't want to make him read as a punishment. But I may have to reevaluate that, listening to taking your point now. And again, superstars who are listening to this is a great point. What I'm showing you right now is that Don is successfully raised, what, 2? 3. And we say successfully through college, working, married. And that's not the only thing that makes individuals successful. And that's by his right to judge whether that's success. And I know of them, and I see it. And I'm like, but with a 12-year-old, I'm still trying to figure out, yes, I'm the undisputed king of wholesaler, Mr. Peak Performance himself. But parenting is my first rodeo. And I'm trying to figure this out on the fly.
Well, define success.
For me, success is really waking up every day and having something to look forward to. And then also having most of the stuff that you really have a desire to have, like, whether it's a car, whether it's a house. This weekend we'll be traveling to Cancun, a beta travel. So it's all relative for different individuals.
It is, and that's my point. As I say, my children are very successful, not necessarily from a financial standpoint.
Right, but that's a part of they're able to take care of themselves. They're not in the house.
Yeah, but like I got a 20-year-old. He'll soon be 21. I mean, he's skated. Was an ice hockey player from the time he was 4 years old. And he worked hard. Talk about unbeatable work ethic. The kid's got more work ethic. And, you got the Olympics right now. And you see how do these kids, I call them kids, but how do these kids handle the pressure? Because a lot of life is all about pressure.
Right.
And how do you handle that?
Right.
So how do you accept it, and do you go, okay, I've got to deal with this, or do you crawl into your shell and remove yourself from the world or blame others?
That's the
And
90%ers, and that's what we're sharing with you all who are listening to this. You have a choice in the matter. Are you going to face the challenge and understanding that pressure is what creates diamonds? Pressure is what creates champions, because as I said, the Super Bowl was just going on. The Olympics is going on right now. I just saw this when I walked back to the house right before you got here, and I had some breakfast, and black girl was the first black girl that won a skating Olympics.
yeah, I saw that speed skating.
Speed skating. However, do you remember this about that story? Is that during the trials she slipped?
No, I didn't see that.
She slipped. She didn't fall, but she made a little slip, and her time didn't come in good enough to make the Olympic team. And the girl behind her gave her spot because she knew she was more
qualified
because she's the best in the world.
Yeah,
but
I did not.
She missed it because it was like right before her coming to the line, and she just did some little. It's like a little skate, but it was like something of a second. And
did she get the gold?
She got the gold.
Yeah,
and she was already geared to win the gold, but she didn't make the team because of timing.
And the fascinating thing about that story is she only started skating in 2016, so 5 years ago.
Right. So those who are listening, it's never too late to get started.
That's right.
Right. We now we got a new story because we always used to use Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was 50. Or 409. 409 got its name from 409 times before they came up with the proper formula.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So let's get into the show here. Let's talk about the mistakes.
Okay. 4 biggest mistakes. We had rookies, but we're gonna say rookies and veterans make. And I like to go first. And this one right here is a personal one for myself. We got many, but we just want to pick our top 4 or give you 4 points so that we can use for so that you can listen to this and walk away with something. But not finishing reading the course. That could go into kind of education. But this was the case, Dom. You remember when Ron LeGrand started teaching us about Subject 2, and Subject 2 came out of nowhere. And Subject 2, for the real quick story, is a quick example of Subject 2 is just somebody who is about to lose a house, and they deed the house over to you. The loan stays in their name, and you take over their payments. We was coming up on a crash, and Ron said, hey, it's going to be big. And I took over about 100 because I had over 100 rental properties at that time. But I didn't finish reading the course where he said you only want to take over pretty house that needs very little repair. And also, when you get the deed from them, you want them to make the next 3 months payments so that you can have time to, if you did do some paint and carpet, time to find a homeowner, a renter or a lease purchase buyer to move into them. I was taking over those payments immediately.
Making the payments right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. And about that 40th one, because I was killing the game with my wholesaling, but I really was bleeding dramatically, but I didn't know it because I was making enough money wholesaling to offset that. And then when the wholesaling slowed down a little bit, I got some people in the properties, but when you buying 5 and 6 houses a week, Subject 2, and the payments anywhere between $800 and $1,400, that adds up fast when you got $10,000 or $20,000 going out just to make payments on vacant houses that you don't even own. Well, technically you do own them now because you got them deeded over. And so that was a big aha moment for myself is, damn, if I would just finish reading the course and saw this, I'd have saved myself all that, as Ron said, went to that seminar, even after I bought the seminar, because I didn't finish reading. Reading is fundamental.
Yep.
Pass that over to you now.
All right. Well, for me, I think one of the biggest things is people's lack of focus. They don't focus on something long enough to get good at it.
Okay. All right.
So think about you as an investor out there. What do you, think about when you go to do something. How long do you focus on it? You talk about you and I. We're, I consider top of our game, right?
Right.
We stand up in front of thousands of people and educate them. But it took us 25 years to get to that point. And we weren't what I call a dog chasing six rabbits. We didn't go all over the place. We were laser focused on, for me, when I first started, I was laser focused on how to do a property subject to.
Right.
I was laser focused on it.
Okay.
And I didn't use any other techniques. You know, it wasn't until later, till I got good at this, that I went, okay, there's other things out there now.
Right.
So we talk about being a transaction engineer and being able to take something and do something with everything, you know, anything with something that comes in. And that takes a little bit of time, because this business is a simple business, but it's not an easy business.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, that to me is the biggest thing that I see most people make or don't do, is they're not focused enough.
Right. And I mean, I remember early on in my career, you'll see somebody come into the real estate business and they say, I'm going to get my appraisal license. Oh, I'm going to be an inspector also.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get my real estate license. And that's what we mean as far, again, and because we kind of talked a little bit before we went into this, is when we saying focus, stay inside the real estate investing arena. And, you know, because Turo is out now, and Amazon sales, cryptocurrency, T-shirts, and we had our
what was that?
NFT, non-fungible tokens, and I see a lot of stuff. People talking about options right now. Stock market's always been around, but now options, and now you're able to buy a piece of a stock with what's that term they use? Because I got Robinhood, ain't traded with it yet. Got money in the account. Fractional,
right?
Fractional stocks. I mean, any kind of way, and to get the consumers to get involved and lose.
Right.
We just want you on the crap table. We just want you in the game. Yep. We don't need you to know how to play the game. We just want you in the game. And what we're saying is, and Don brings up a great point here, is focus on getting your skills set up and mastering one, at least becoming good at one, before you do one wholesale deal or one substitute deal. Now you're ready to go rehab the world.
Yep. You know, direction goes along with that, like lack of direction. So, I mean, I don't know. You mentioned you get up in the morning and you prepare your day.
Right.
Well, how many of you listening out there actually systematically prepare your day or your life?
Right.
Or do you just get up in the morning and
go
through the motions? I mean, someone that is ultra successful, if you look at them, they're consistent. They plan for success. They don't just, success just doesn't happen.
No, and that's the problem I have when we think about the big boom theory. If we just look at this world has order to it. And that's all we're saying, is that there's an order to it. Even when I, with my 25 years of being in the business, when I walk through with you, who is a master rehabber, and for those who don't know this about Don and Christy, they do premier rehab. They don't do the as they say, putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
No, they like to tear out everything and go back brand new, custom windows sometime. I was over at a house. It's a true story. As we're talking about rehabbing. And in the kitchen, I know you remember this when I said, the tiles was off. The lines wasn't straight when you looked at it. And you're like, oh, that got to come out. They got to come out. And I'm like, looks okay to me. But then when he started showing me the trained eye, a tier one, as we say, VVVS jeweler looking at a stone, you were able to show me, see the flaws right here? I was like,
well, you see, I see a lot of that. And, you know, in today's market, it doesn't matter because there's very little inventory out there. So people will overlook that stuff.
Right.
But where that trained eye and where that eye for detail comes in is when we start going into a buyer's market, that will be the difference between someone being successful and selling their houses quick in a buyer's market versus someone trying to throw lipstick on a pig and getting it done in a buyer's market. It's just it will sit there.
Right.
So that's kind of where I learned all that.
Right. And then also I remember y'all were setting the comps in areas because y'all rehabs was so much better than as you say, the other product in the market. And with that being said, we're talking about staying focused. Don, I think you touched on this one. Lack of education. That's my second one.
Yeah.
most people don't want to take the time. Even though I bought the course and I implemented some of the principles, I didn't fulfill that requirement for that home study course and getting all of it. And so many people run to this business without, they just think that I can just do it. And I remember putting out a post saying, don't disrespect my business. It's like thinking you can be a doctor or a nurse or even a hockey player because you watch it on TV like, oh, that shit look like I could do that. You know, I worked at Atlanta Station. I skated. If I just practice a little bit, I could be a hockey skating on ice and then having a puck and somebody running at you at 40 miles an hour trying to take your head off. It's a lot different. And all that equipment on.
Yeah.
It ain't as easy as it looked. And so, as Don said, this is not rocket science, but it does require some skill set that when we're talking about mathematics, basic mathematics, you know, I think I saw something today. Somebody just sent me something that said, is this what you want? 188 square foot for this particular area. That's how Don looks at equations when he's looking at it. And you got to know basic mathematics. This is not geometry. But again, I love geometry is needed when you talk about rehabbing because you got to understand, you know, taking out walls now. What's it called? You take out the wall, you got to be able to put that joist up top.
Yeah, LVL.
Yeah, I was like, so, you know, I got one of my rehabs. I'm taking out that wall. I know we can just put an LVL there. But lack of education, and the only way you get education is by, as Don is sitting in front of me when I talk about the LVL, is going to somebody who is doing, not done, but doing what you want to do. And being willing to sit at their feet almost like Jesus. Jesus was willing to sit at people's feet. Even though he was who he was, he sat at the feet of the wise men and AKA wise women, ladies. So I don't want you all to think that only men do this business or I'm being male chauvinist. I would sit at the foot of a woman if she knows something. Robin Thompson, matter of fact.
Chrissy's a perfect example. Chrissy's a perfect example. When we do this home vestor, we had a little logo designed. I don't know if corporate will approve it, but it has me with an iPad and a handful of money because I'm usually the negotiator and the front person when we meet the customer. And then Chrissy has a little hammer and toolbox because she's the one that handles most of the renovations.
Right. And when we say handles, not that she is the one who's doing it.
No, she's not swinging hammers.
Right.
She's
but she oversees the renovation and she knows what she's doing also.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it's it's a good partnership.
Right, great combination, teamwork.
All right, so yours was education.
Lack of education.
So let me give you one here: consistency or lack of, especially when it comes to marketing. I tell people all the time, people want to come into this business, and we see it every day in the seminars we do. You know, they want to be an investor. For whatever reason, they like that title.
Right.
Right. I think maybe that comes with some money, status, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But at the beginning or even at the end, I don't consider us investors. I consider us problem solvers. But before you even become a problem solver, you've got to get somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to sell you my house.
Right.
So you've got to get good at marketing. Marketing is the key to this business at its basic level. And it's all about being consistent. So people come to me and say, what kind of money do I need to market? Or what should I do? I can't answer that question because I don't know what your budget is. So you got to tell me your budget first, like how much money can you afford to spend? And they're like, well, I only have, a couple $100. Okay. And so the biggest thing is, can you make money in this business with only a couple $100 worth of marketing budget? And my answer is absolutely. I would rather have somebody that has $200 or $300 in their marketing budget than have somebody that has $5,000 and they spend that $5,000 once and then they don't market again for 2 months. I'd rather have somebody that has $200 or $300 or $400, but marketing it consistently.
Right. Right.
Consistency is the key.
Right. And again, if you just think about farming, if you don't put seeds in the ground, you don't have a possibility of even having a harvest. And if you, like you say, you have that mindset of, I'm gonna throw this $5,000 down in seeds, but did you plant them properly? Did you know what you was doing? Mm-hmm. And then when don't nothing grow, you like, it doesn't work, and you finish. I had that happen with one of my mentees. He made money from postcards, and then he did a big postcard campaign, not knowing if stamp problem, postal problem, did the company really send them out? And then he like, I don't know about this no more. I'm like, hold on, you've been doing postcards for a year and you've done about 5 or 6 deals. Now, one time your marketing doesn't work, mental,
Yep.
not looking at the data. I've been doing this for a year, and I've been just only doing postcards because he didn't want to do driving for dollars. He didn't want to do cold calling. Text marketing wasn't prevalent then. And I'm like, well, how did you get those other leads? But that was emotions. And, that kind of comes into what we talk about the education.
Yeah.
Education is just not the education of the system of how to get a deal and how to negotiate it, but the education and the mental aspect that you was talking about being consistent. Yep. When it comes back to your marketing, understand that marketing is really you're looking at the return on your investment. If I spend this much going out and I get so many deals, now let me look at my KPI and see that I spent $400 and I got one deal, so that means, and it took me 30 days. So if I spend $800, the KPI tells me that key
performance
indicators that I should get 2 deals. Unless I'm getting better at my negotiation. And see, all those things play into it because somebody can throw some leads away that we can turn into deals based on
every day.
Skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is they also think that if they get a little bit of education, and please don't make this mistake if you're listening out there, they think that if you get a little bit of education, you know all there is to know.
Right.
And I mean, even the best,
we still learn.
Even the best athletes, even the best performers, still have coaches, still have people they look to for advice and procedural, improvements.
Right. Always looking to fine tune.
Yeah, I mean, in the world of performance or company performance, there's a good book out there called Kaizen, and it's based on continuous improvement. And it's not so much what you're doing with your competitors, but it's looking at internal, doing what I'm doing better. Athletes do it all the time.
Right.
Especially Olympic athletes, right? They're not performing against, yes, they race against other people, but every day of their life until they get to that race, they're racing against themselves. They're trying to improve their time, trying to improve their performance. And that's really the key is you've got to work on your performance.
That brings me to one of my, Jay Connors. Are you familiar with Jay Connors?
Yeah, I know
the
Jay.
money guy.
Yeah.
This is a writer-downer. I got that from him. This is a writer-downer. Based on your performance, it's going to either be pain or pleasure. And what I mean by based on your performance is either going to be pain or pleasure is that, based on your performance of your marketing, it's going to be the pleasure of closing a deal or the pain or frustration that you're not closing a deal. Because what we're saying right now and what Don is opening the door for right now, it really comes back to you taking responsibility and saying, hey, I'm going to learn this game. I'm going to learn about the wholesale portion. I'm going to learn how to negotiate. I'm going to learn what this 65% mean or this 70%. And this brings me to one point that we're going to keep it moving. The burr. We're going to do a whole episode.
We should do that. I think we should do that
on breaking out the burr.
On the next show.
I think
we should do that.
But let's take responsibility when we're talking about focus, your education, finishing the course, my mistake that I made, lack of education. Go get the education, but also do the implementation of it also when he's saying stay focused. Stick and stay. That's one of my things when I tell my mentees and when I'm speaking to individuals. Most people have no stick and stay power. They stick and move like they boxers.
Well, I think it comes down to it's lack of focus.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. You say stick and stay. I say you're not focused.
Right.
You just don't have, and you're not. It's not so much about focus, and the reason you're not focused is because you've got poor direction. You've got poor direction, and you have no goal that you're trying to accomplish. Right. You're just going, I want to be a real estate investor, but you have no plan.
Right.
In the engineering world, we have a formula. It's called plan, do, check, act, and it's a circle. So everything we do revolves around those 4 words. Plan, so you plan for your whatever you're going to do. You do it. You check or you evaluate how that went, and then you act or recalculate or redo whatever didn't work.
Right.
So plan, do, check, act.
Okay.
That's your
That's your jewel.
That's your
That's your
detail.
engineering. That's your engineering jewel
for the day.
for the day. So we coming on toward midway.
So we have an event that I will confirm, but I want to say the date was the 9th.
Yeah.
It was April 9th. April 9th. So April 9th is a Saturday, and it's April 9th and 10th, I guess.
9th and 10th. Let's just double check. April 9th and 10th was those dates.
April 9th and 10th. We are going to do an event, and the next show, I'll put up a sign up. So everyone, if you want to attend, you can. We'll do it both live and online.
Right.
And so if you're out of
Oh, that's my clock. That's my clock. It's saying that's our 30 minutes, but we're gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on going. I know it started. Threw you off.
Yeah, it threw me off. But what it's going to do, I'll put a link up there. You can, if you're outside of Atlanta, you would obviously be doing it via Zoom, and then if you're in Atlanta, we'll have it here locally. It'll be. I already have the places. She was supposed to get back to me to confirm the date, but I'm pretty sure the date's fine.
Okay. And again, our 2 topics of discussion, I will be teaching you everything from A to Z when it comes to wholesaling real estate, how you can do this business without using your cash or your credit. Now, this will be a paid event, and you will have to spend money on marketing. I mean, I don't want you to think that there's no money involved, because you got to do some type of marketing, even if it's gas money from driving around and being able to have the software to skip trace or the app. But as far as you having to buy a house using your credit or having to put up tens of thousands of dollars, no, not needed. And Don, you're going to be sharing with them.
I'm going to be doing the owner finance side of it. The creative finance side. So that would be come in the form of subject to, wraparound mortgages, lease options, those types of things where you, most people know it as no money down type techniques.
Right.
So it's an owner finance. So that's going to be probably one of the sexiest events you'll have all year. I mean,
right.
Because in both of those days, you'll learn how to buy real estate with next to nothing out of your pocket.
Right. And if you were to use hard money, we may touch a little bit on private money. And that may be a bonus session, or we may give you our home study course on private money, explaining that to you, because neither one of us have used hard money in years.
Yeah, I haven't lately. Although I am, full disclosure, I'm probably going to use hard money on 2 new builds.
Okay.
That we're doing this year.
Okay. Well, maybe not.
But we'll talk more about that.
Maybe not, because I just got a line on $2 million line of credit if you are a seasoned investor that you can use for new builds.
Would I qualify?
Yes. You're more than qualified. That's why I'm letting you know. All right, moving on. This is the one that I see so often in new investors: the blind leading the blind. What does Mr. Tycoon mean when I say the blind leading the blind? 2 individuals. One of them watching HBO, and the other one watching what's the $1 million listing, and they're like, "Oh, we can do this. We can do this."
Yeah.
And neither one of them know what they're doing. One of them has good credit. The other one has a little cash. And they said, we're going to get us a real estate agent, just like on investing in New York, or $1 million listing. And we're going to go find us a property, and we're going to renovate it, because I know the Home Depot is not too far from us. I got a Home Depot credit card, and my cousin does concrete work, and a guy at church does new construction, because I see his truck all the time, and I know he going to work with us. And it turns out to be a mess.
I see that every day.
A mess.
In fact, they come to me, like when we do our weekly sessions, they come to me and they pull me aside and say, "Hey, I did this deal and it didn't go as well as I thought." And so then I get into the details, and they bought it, let's say, from the MLS, and they paid an agent, and they paid way too much for it. And then they got a contractor that they didn't vet, and just one thing led to another, and it just became a disaster. And I can't tell you how many stories I hear like that. So if you're out there listening, don't be afraid. In fact, I would encourage, we do, in fact, tomorrow what is today? So
Monday.
this would be since I don't know when this will air. So I'll tell you, it's the second and fourth Tuesday. Is that right? Yeah. Second and fourth Tuesday of every month, we do a thing called on-site renovation at Atlanta RIA, that you get to go see a bunch of houses that could be finished, could be in the middle of rehab, but we go through and we walk you through it. So we do that. But the point I'm trying to make here is, don't be afraid to get a mentor or get someone that's been doing this for a while. So like if you want to learn how to wholesale, call Tycoon up and say, hey, show me how to wholesale. Yeah, and don't be afraid to split the money with that individual or a rehab, because as I say, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing.
No, 100% of a mess.
Yeah.
A problem.
So, and be careful because
a loss.
Yeah, and we had the kid in here last show,
week.
and he's like, I had to set him straight, and I'm like, don't give your time away for free. He's like, I just want to do it because I'll do whatever you want me to do. I just want to follow you around. That's great, and that's the right attitude. But same breath, don't give away your time for free.
But we're gonna have him back next week. No,
yeah.
All right, you're number 3, Don.
I don't know.
Wrapping up.
I had poor direction focus. I had not enough marketing or not being consistent, and lack of focus. And the biggest one is no follow-up.
No follow-up. How many deals do you drive back by? How many times do you call a person back when you find their number because you don't have a CRM, or even just a pad, a yellow pad with their name and number on it and their address and what you said to them, and you just didn't flip back through it, and now they say, I sold it. Or one of the worst ones that I feel is when you drive by a house and you see it rehabbed and you're like, I knew it was a deal.
Yep.
And somebody bought it, and they ain't not just bought it, but they ain't rehabbed it, and you like, damn, I was on that one. I was on it. And listen,
lack of follow-up.
I'm telling you, I even suffer from that now as being the undisputed king of wholesaling, whether it's staff or just attempting, as you say, to do too much. That's one of the most painful things, Don. That is painful, because I'm always, and when I say I'm in the streets, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about driving through, whether I'm putting up signs or I'm looking for a vacant house, because I still do this myself. I do have individuals that do it and my students, but I'm still where we're both still active investors.
Yeah, I was out Saturday with my son, my oldest. Right. He's getting the bug.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
He's getting the bug to be an investor now. So I spent most of the morning driving for dollars.
Okay.
Teaching him how to look it up.
Right. What app were y'all using? Were y'all using an app, or were y'all using old school pen and paper?
I showed him a combination of both ways, but we used PropStream, followed around, and then we took PropStream back and skip traced them, and then we sent out a bunch of emails. We sent out a bunch of text messages. I have a little different format than most people, because when you send out a text message or you send out like an email, if it has keywords in it that the spam bots pick up on, it'll kick it out and it won't get delivered. So me, I send a picture. So I taught my son, and this is like maybe when you come to the event, we'll teach you how to do this. But I take a picture of me pointing to a house, or in his case, him, on a blank wall, and then I cut out the background. And then when we go take pictures of the houses, I take the house
and put it in a box.
And then I put his or my face or my body pointing to that house on top of that postcard. And then I say, I want to buy this house, and then call me. And then I send that picture. So I don't have any words, any text messages to get filtered out. Both from, like when you go into spam and you use words like free or investment, it'll automatically, those keywords kick it into spam. Well, when you send a picture, it can't see that picture. It can't see the words on the picture. That's a tip. That's a pro tip for you right there.
Did y'all catch that? Because I'm sitting here like trying to act like, oh, yeah, I knew that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because again, you wouldn't even understand what he's talking about unless you're doing text marketing, where they tell you, let me ask you this: it's a 98% success text rate. How many times do y'all get a text and you don't text somebody back? That's because I know you.
Yeah.
But it's not 98% in texting individuals using a texting service that you don't know. You're talking about buying their house,
Yep.
or you're an investor, which, like you said, you can't use the word investor. And it's a lot more to it than what they sell you on the stages. And that's all we want to do, is serve the correct information to you, let you know what you're in for, so that you're going to prepare. It's like, we really like the Army, Don. We prepare you for battle,
Yeah.
real battle.
Yeah.
And so when people start shooting at you and saying fuck you and hanging up on you, you're not overwhelmed. But when you sign up for the Army, you know you may go to war.
Yep.
You're gonna be in the middle of combat. So we want you to know you're in combat. We don't want you to let you go, oh, you're gonna be in a glass castle. Yeah. You're gonna invest 30 and make 200,000, and you put in your self-directed IRA. Then we're gonna show you how to move it into a trust, and you're gonna be a millionaire in just a little while. No.
Yeah.
No. You're going into battle.
Yep.
You're gonna have to in a war. What they say when you take the hill and you can plant your flag, we're gonna teach you how to take the hill.
Yeah.
We want you gonna win, but it's gonna be a battle.
Yep.
And with Don saying that earlier, the biggest battles are with yourself. The follow up.
Well, it's very interesting taking my son, who doesn't know anything, right? I mean, you would think he would know more than he does because of me, but I'm not one of these that push. I don't push my children into anything. As they say, that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, right. I'm here now. And he went back, and we only did, 12, 15 of them. So it wasn't like an all-day process.
Right.
But he called me last night at 10 o'clock and says, Dad, I got a text back. It said, stop texting me. Leave me the hell alone. He goes, What do I do? I said, well, just take them off the list for now and follow up in, a few months. Because it's a vacant house. Now, when somebody says, take me off your list, if you're, the other difference is if I'm driving for dollars, I'm texting from my phone. I'm not necessarily using a service.
Right, right.
Because.
We're using a Google number though, right?
No, I use my personal number.
Okay.
I use my personal, because it's a one-off text.
I would just still use my Google number.
Yeah,
if I was
you can.
Because you got Google on your phone.
You can.
Yeah.
But they say, take me off your list, and so I don't send it back to them. But here's the thing. That's a vacant, ugly house. If I showed you a picture of this, you go, there's no way in hell this
thing. It's just timing.
It's just,
a no just means what, Don? Not
just
now.
Not today.
Not now.
Today. That's right.
All right.
So.
All right. Last one I got before we get out of here.
Never take no for an answer.
Right. Never take no for an answer. Be like one of my partners in college, Carl. Girl say no to him. He like, oh, she liking me. She feeling me. She's crazy about me. And Carl would be so persistent and what? Your word? Consistent, that they will eventually go out and like, okay, Carl, let's go out. Because I'm just so tired of you asking me. You act like you don't understand. He like,
yeah.
He will wear them down.
Yeah. I got a friend in New York, a good friend of mine, Matt Marinoff. He runs a real estate recovery group, so shout out to him. But he goes, it's never a no until you get a restraining order.
See, those are speaker things for y'all. You for those who want to be speakers out there, we got some jewels for you. But the last one for me, one of the biggest mistakes, and this is a personal one that I had to learn, is hiring friends and family inside my business. Again, as you said, unlike you, not in my parenting, but my friends and family, I do this business, I'm successful, you're going to do this business, whether you want to or you don't. And so I try to put friends and family in the business, and cost me a lot of money. Cost me some money, because a lot is all relative to who you talk to, but thousands of dollars, some of them even tens of thousands of dollars. I'm trying to hire my friends and family into the business because I thought they wanted better or more. And one thing that I want to say to everyone right now, and this even, I'm not going to throw the kids in there, but everybody don't want what you want.
Nope, I learned that.
And that's still a difficult pill for me to swallow sometimes when I see people. I'm like, it's a better way. But now I heard it was Frank Kern said it. He was talking about the marketing using the dog whistle. And the dog whistle effect is your market will be able to hear the whistle.
Yeah.
So don't keep trying to make people hear your dog whistle when they're not of your breed. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that just came off top of the dome.
yeah.
Or as I like to say, they're not tuned into your station, as we was talking about the energy flow and things of that nature. Because it's almost real estate is almost like a cult when you get into it, and you like, this shit is really fun. I mean, it's really freeing. It's almost, you can kind of play with the biblical of,
That's
it's
what my
like
son
heaven
said.
and paradise. Like, man, this is,
That's what my son said last night. He goes, "This is really fun." I'm like, it can be.
Yeah.
And most people don't look at driving for dollars and going back and doing all this research.
again,
It's fun, but it's different for him, and he's excited because the thing that he sees is he sees how much money you can make.
right.
Like he sees firsthand.
He lived it.
Yeah, he sees checks, right?
Right.
Or wires or whatever you want to call them. He sees HUD statements. And he's like, okay, I know this stuff's real. It's not just stuff that they talk about.
Right.
And
This is not this is not Don DeRosa on a TV commercial or at a real group. I said this is how he took care of me.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I went out into the real world and worked, and I'm like, this ain't work in comparison to having to get up and go and come.
Well, I think.
Plus, I can stop and go to the bathroom if I want to without
well,
asking.
I think most people,
And
I said this in another show. Not everybody has been trained to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what you're trying to do in the real estate world is become an entrepreneur. You are an entrepreneur. You're trying to create your own business. But the mistakes, most people are trained to go to work every day at a certain time. They're trained to go to lunch at a certain time. They're trained to use this script. They're trained to use where to sit, what time to leave, what time to
wear,
go, what to
when
wear.
to take a vacation.
Exactly.
Come in for a review.
So when you throw the entrepreneurial ship to that individual and they're not used to it because they've been trained to follow their entire lives, it becomes very difficult because they almost revert back to like kids, like young kids going, what do I do? Instead of using some rational thought process, which they all have. All you out there that are listening, if you're struggling with becoming an entrepreneur, you all have it. It's simple. You just have to get out of your own way. And you have to get out of the mindset that you're working for someone else and that what you do, there's a purpose and a plan for that, and you have to spend the time to do it. And at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to reap the reward.
Right. It's your harvest. And lastly, just to add one point to that, again, you got to take responsibility because you've been programmed to be a follower. So it's kind of a reprogram, a self-reprogram program. And that's why a mentor or peak performance coach. And again, I know some of you are like, oh, you see how he throw that in there? It ain't about us. We just telling you what it is. Because all of our life, we have been programmed to seek approval. When you're in school, they give you what? A smiley face.
Yeah.
A star. You did good. That's how the programming goes.
Look at social media.
Right.
We put posts out there because we want people to give it a thumbs up or a like or
right. And if it doesn't, you take it down. Even though you felt like you was looking like money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen.
So we all want approval.
Yeah. We all, but the biggest approval we gotta have is self-approval though, Don. And that's what my whole mission is wanting you to understand. Yes, we are human.
Yep.
We want to feel appreciated, loved, applauded for. But what is a celebrity? Somebody who's just celebrated. That's what makes you a celebrity. But they celebrate it for what we talked about earlier, their performance. We don't celebrate people if their performance ain't good. But even some people, that's a whole nother story. That fans, they gonna talk about you either way.
Yeah,
eventually.
I mean, as they, what they say, no press is bad press.
Right.
I don't know that I agree with that,
but I'm not. What I'm saying is and shout out to I want to say LBJ, but that's LeBron. He got hurt yesterday in the first half.
Beckham?
Yeah, Beckham.
Odell Beckham?
Odell Beckham.
Jr.
One hand snatch, the hottest thing in the league at one time. Then he went to Cleveland. They said he was washed up.
Yeah.
Then he got cut.
You see it all the time.
Right.
You see it all the time.
But my point is, that's what fans do. But he never lost who he was. He knew he still was Odell Beckham, even when he was in Cleveland, even when they cut him. And the Rams picked him up. He said, oh, I'm somewhere where I can shine again. I'm the same player I was over there. It just the team didn't
Well,
fit.
the person in charge has to believe in you, whoever that is.
Right. But
right?
that's what I'm saying. Individually with people anywhere, you got to believe in yourself, even when people don't believe in you.
That's right.
And that's all I'm saying. And eventually, you will come around a team of individuals who believe in you, or two coaches like us who believe in you, because we know what it feels like to have a dream and an aspiration, and we can tell you this shit is real.
Yep.
And on that note, these were our biggest mistakes that we've seen, along with sprinkled in there some pixie dust of personal development. And we'll see you next week. But before we go,
here I'm gonna put up some websites here for you. If you want more information, you can go to my website. This is my link tree right here.
yeah, you told me about that.
DonDeRosa.com. So you can go there and get anything. I don't need to put anything else up there for that. But if you want Tycoon, it's MrTycoon.com. And I think your biggest thing that you want that people to go to is your IG, right?
Yep. Follow me on IG, and you'll get clippings of this podcast. And again, the podcast is coming. The Odd Couple of Real Estate, where it'll just be audio, so you can be able to listen to it every week.
Yep.
And if we keep going at this pace, we're gonna have 2 or 3 up a month. 2 or 3 up a week, because we're really enjoying this. And so we really need you to subscribe, share with other individuals, but also, as we just was talking about, give us some feedback. Let us know that you appreciate that we have taken out the time, because we're going to do it with whether you give us a thumbs up, whether you give us some likes or not, because we're enjoying it. And that's what I'm saying you want to do in life. However, at the same time, we are human. And if you're listening, you like it, let us know, and let us know some topics that you might want us to discuss, or even events that you want us to put on around real estate. Don is also, some of y'all may not know this, he's a master when it comes to trust and putting your assets in a safe place, in a safe haven. We're not talking about your stuff offshores. We just don't. We talk about that. We talk about that in the class, not online. But until next time, it's the Odd Couple of Real Estate. We've had a fantastic time.
I love doing the show.
Do y'all even see how Don's energy has changed? Because I told you as he said, he got up on the wrong side of bed.
I was having a rough day today.
Yeah, the energy has shifted. There's been a shifting of the spirit in the building.
Well,
Go ahead.
I shouldn't say this, but there's been times where I've been. You ever been sick, like not feeling well, and you push forward, and I'll do a whole day seminar, and the minute I start doing that seminar, the energy that I have, I don't sniffle, I don't feel bad, and then when it's all done, it comes back to me.
Right.
Because the mind and the body and the spirit are connected. And there's an energy to that. And if you're around people that you like, and this goes back to people listening, that if you're listening to people who aren't like-minded, we always say, if you want to be a millionaire, who should you hang around? If you want to be a real estate investor, who should you hang around? Right. And not people that are just wanting to do it, people that are doing it. Because they're going to give you the positive energy that you need and the stick-to-itness. Right. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I must have some good energy, because Don came over and had a great time. And again, when we used to see each other at events or at the RIA group, we always kept saying, man, Don, we got to do something. That's why we used to hang out on the boat. Yep. Because we enjoyed each other company, because we do have like minds. Even though it's ebony and ivory, but in the world, they be like, oh, y'all got too much stuff in odds. But that's what makes it so fun and beautiful, is because at the core, we're just two good guys, and we want to see everybody win, because we winning. And
we're gonna do one on the boat. We're gonna do a show on the boat. You guys, let us know in the comments if you want us to do a show remote. Yeah, remote on the boat. Then we're gonna start taking them on the islands and things of that nature. This is Don DeRosa, Mr. Tycoon, live from Jamaica, man. Don got a spliff, y'all. No, just joking. No. Oh, yes, he does. No, just joking. We're live here in Hawaii. We got hula dancers all around us. We're in the middle of the, what is it, a luau? A luau, yeah. Hey, Don, we can do it all. Real estate will allow that, especially if we get y'all support. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll see y'all back in about a week right now. So as always, remember, we're never out of message, just out of minutes. Yours truly, Mr. Tycoon and Don DeRosa. Peace. And remember, in order to get your money right, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your mind right. We out. All right. Peace.